Welcome back to another lecture. And in the previous video, we created API to fetch the board. Now, in this particular video, we are going to create API to move the ticket. So what's the use case of this API? So whenever you are, drag and dropping any ticket from one column to another column, then we must update the column reference, the positioning of this API of this particular ticket. So to achieve that only, we are having this move API. So currently, this is the endpoint API slash ticket slash move. The request is going to be post, and the board ID, ticket ID, and board column ID are going to be passed. So this is considering just one use case, that we are only updating the column ID. Okay, just we are updating the column. We also need to take into consideration the position of the ticket, whether in the column it at what position it is, whether it is at 1 2 3 or at the last or at the beginning, and so on, because a ticket can be moved in various columns, but like changing the positions up and down is something we have to consider, whether we have to allow it or not. Okay, so shall we allow drag and drop of the ticket within the same column? Obviously we can, there is no harm. All we have to do is we just have to update the position and rest is good. Okay, so this API, my friend, I think can also incur one more property called as position. Okay, and it can be any integer, 1 2 or 3, whatsoever. Okay, so this is the API, and in return we will be getting the updated ticket information. So let's head over and create this particular API to perform drag and drop operations, and we'll head over to our file. And yeah, we didn't raise a PR for the previous API for the board fetch API, so I'll just create one branch, create new branch, fetch board API, and I'll add everything, and I'll just say fetch board API. We will commit these changes and I'll just push this. We will head over to our app and we can see this pull request. So let's just create this and wait for all the checks to pass. Maybe we can fast forward right now. Oh, okay. Our deployment failed. Let's check the reason. Okay, it is saying that we have to perform a Prisma generate during the build process because auto generation isn't triggered. All right, this is making sense to me. All you have to do is head over to package.json file, and during the build command, next build, so just write Prisma generate and next build. You can say fix build, or maybe we can say fix build issue. Let's just comment this, check this again. Okay, so it is deploying the application. This should work now. Oh, something went wrong. Okay, so dynamic server page couldn't be rendered statically because it used next URL or search params. Okay, which page is it talking about? But the generation was passed. Okay, there was no build error. Okay, so looks like this particular page is being treated as a page. Okay. Yeah, so even I stumbled upon this particular Next.js documentation, and even there also they are performing the same semantics. And I guess this is fine because even though it is trying to create a page, but the page size is empty, so the page wasn't generated, and the build also didn't failed this time. So you can see that all checks are green. So I think this is acceptable, and it really doesn't matter right now because at the end we will be converting these APIs into server actions, so that it wouldn't make much difference. So we have merged our board API. Okay, let's just switch the branch to master, and we will sync this, and we will have this file back again into our systems. So if you look in the API folder, what we have to do is we have to deal with tickets. So inside API, a new folder called as ticket, and then we have a new folder called as move, and a new file called as route.ts. Okay, so this is going to be I think we can reuse this code previously, and this is going to be a post request. So this is a post, and this is not how we get the body request bodies, because this is not a get request right now. So what you can do is we can get rid of these parts. Okay, and over here I can just say const body equals to await request dot json. This would give me all the body of this particular API. Okay, and then what else? Yeah, so we have we have to check that. So what we can do is we can extract various informations. For example, if we check the ticket schema, what are the variables we have to deal with? We can change the board, so board ID. We can update the position, so position, and the corresponding board column ID. Okay, and if we check the API contract, so these are all the variables: board ID, board column, position, and also we need a ticket ID to identify which ticket needs to be moved. So this ticket ID is ID over here. So shall we take this as ticket ID and not just ID? So this would be much better. Now all we have to do is we have to perform a update operation. So if you head over to Prisma client, and there is one update API over here. So it updates an existing database record, and these are all the things, various options that it can take, and this is the return type. So what we have to do is we just have to leverage on this particular API, and I'll just say const ticket data equals to await prisma dot board ticket dot update. Now we have to say, okay, which record to update. So I'll just say where ID is ticket ID. Okay, this is what I have to update, and this is the ticket which I want to update. And what exactly do I need to update? I just need to update the board ID, position, and board column ID. This is what I need to update. And once this all is done, I just have to response JSON data, and inside data I'll just get rid of everything and just pass this, and this log is fine, something went wrong, and that's it. So we will head over to our Prisma Studio, and let's pick one ticket. Meanwhile, let me set up the API as well. So add request. This is a post. And did I already have? Yes, I already had this. So localhost 3000 / API / ticket / move. Then head over to body. Raw JSON is already set. Then we have to pass 4 items. One is board ID, another is position, then we have a board column ID, and we have a ticket ID. All right. So let's just hit this API with nothing and see what we are getting. Something went wrong, right? And what's the error in the console? That position invalid, value provided, expected integer. Okay. So position was expecting an integer. So let's give this position a random value 2. Before that, now let's try to hit, because we are not providing any ticket ID. So this should not work. So operation failed because it depends on one or more records that were required but not found. Okay. So as the document said, that if the record is not found, it will throw an exception error. That is what we are experiencing right now. So we will take some legit data, and so we are over here and we can see that this particular ticket is part of this column ID, and the position is 1. Okay, and the assigned user is this. So this is the board column ID. So 66. So this particular column only has 2 tickets. So what I'll do is, what I can do is I can just create, just change the positioning of the ticket. So this particular ticket, if it is over here of the call, if this in this particular column, I'll just move this to another column, or maybe we can just change the position from let's say 2, from 0 to 2. Okay, so let's try this thing. So I copied the ticket ID. So this is the ticket ID. The board column ID is going to be same because we are making changes in the same column. And what else? So we are having a board ID. So this is the board ID. All right. So let's just hit this. So the position should be changed to 2, and let's refresh. Yeah, so now you can see that the position is updated to 2. The API is working really fine, but there is one minor problem, that given the request is post, okay, given this request is post, how would I validate that it is having a board ID of string, position of integer, board and column ID of integer, and ticket ID, and that too all these fields are mandatory. How can we validate these stuffs? So there comes Zod into the picture for validating our schemas. So Zod validations, search for Zod validations. So this is the Zod documentation. Okay, so this is a very good library for type checking our data, and if there is some error, then throwing that error as well. So this is a really cool library, and let's head over to the installation part. all we have to do is yarn add Zod. Okay, so we are going to get over here and we can write yarn add Zod. So Zod is being added. Now what we have to do is we have to create schemas. Okay, so I'll create a new folder called as schema, and in this file I'll create a new file called as move ticket.ts. Okay, and how do we exactly create a schema? It is really very simple. Let me show you. So firstly, you just import z from Zod. Okay, this is Zod, and you just export a schema. So you say export const schema equals to z dot object, and inside this object I have a board ID which would be of string type, so z dot string. Then we have position, which is going to be an integer, so position z dot number, and then we have a board column ID. This is again going to be an integer, and we have a ticket ID, which is also going to be a string. Okay, so we have got this schema, and all we have to do is we have to import this schema over here. So import schema from @schema/move ticket, and we have to validate this schema against this particular object. So how do we exactly validate it? It is again really very simple. You just say const response equals to schema.parse body. Okay, and if if response dot success, yeah, okay, we have to perform a save parse. Yeah, so we have to perform a save parse, and if the save parse failed over here, then we return a error message like we did for previous APIs. This part. Okay, so fields are missing or parse incorrect. Okay, so let's check this part over here. And so for example, if I just remove ticket ID from over here, so it says something went wrong. And what was the error? Syntax error. Okay, expected double quoted properties JSON at line 124. Okay, so okay, this error, this was because of this particular colon. Let's send this again. So it says that fields are missing or parsed incorrect. This has worked perfectly. Now if I just add my field again, okay, so it is going to just update everything and work fine as before. So this was the Zod validations, and we are going, this was just a quick intro kind of stuff about Zod. We will cover more in depth about parsing, safe parsing, and other types of validations regarding Zod further as we dive into the front end part of the validations, where we deal with forms and other stuffs. So over there, this is going to come very handy. So we have created our basic API with for moving the ticket. Right now let's just create a new branch, and call this as move API, and we just add everything to the staging environment and say create move API, just commit this, push this, and we come over here, we refresh and we get a move API. So let's just create a branch, create pull request, and just check that nothing is breaking our production environment. Okay, so we will wait for all these tests to check, and once everything is green, we will merge this particular API. So we are performing all the standard operations that big companies follow. All right, so everything is green, so we can safely merge this. Or yeah, so I also wanted to show one thing. So before merging this pull request, you get this particular drop down. Just click over it and you can see that create a merge commit, squash and merge, and rebase and merge. So select this one, squash and merge. What this will do is, let's say if your PR pull request has 5-6 commits, what it will do is it will squash all those commits into a single commit, and only one commit will go into your master branch. So this is really very good part. So just confirm squash and merge, and we are good to go.